Hi students, the next topic is SN2 reaction. Here SN2 reaction. Here SN2 reaction means what? SN2 reaction means bimolecular. It is called as bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction or nucleophilic substitution bimolecular reaction. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution or substitution nucleophilic bimolecular reaction. Here, what is SN2 mechanism or SN2 reaction? Generally, SN1 reaction means tertiary alkyl halide shows, but SN2 reaction is shown by primary alkyl halides. Primary alkyl halides mainly shows SN2 reactions. And next, here this is also shown by the allyl halides, and this is also shown by benzyl halides. Okay, benzyl halides. But this is also not shown by vinyl halides and aryl halides. And mainly SN2 mechanism is shown by primary alkyl halides, and we will see the mechanism for SN2 reactions. And here SN2 mechanism. This is a single step process. Actually, it is a single step or one step, single or one step process. One step process. Here, because of its single step or one step, this is also called as concerted. This is also called as concerted reaction. Here, concerted reaction means which occurs only in one step. Which occurs only in one step are called as concerted reaction. If they are occurring in more than one step, they are called as non-concerted reactions. Okay. And next, here, sorry. And primary alkyl halides, we said, what is happening in this primary alkyl halide? Suppose we are taking a primary alkyl halide. This is a methyl group, and here there is a hydrogen, and here there is a deuterium, and here there is a halide. Primary alkyl halide is present, halogen is present, and then it is reacting with a nucleophile. Here nucleophile may be negative charged species or lone pair containing the nucleophile is present, and then what happens is this is a single step process we said, and generally the reaction occurs in polar aprotic solvent, and here the nucleophile will try to attack from this side, but already there is X or halide ion, so not able to attack from the front side. It will try to attack from the opposite side. So here nucleophile is attacking from opposite side because it is a tetrahedrally arranged. So I will show the tetrahedrally arranged molecule of a carbon. Here see this. This is a tetrahedral arranged carbon atom containing molecule. This is a tetrahedron, regular tetrahedron if you see. And suppose if there is a halogen atom, this blue colored ball is a halogen, green colored ball is a halogen atom, and these three are remaining carbon atom, remaining groups present on it, and front side already there is another compound. So whenever this is trying, nucleophile is trying to attack from this side, this already present halide ion will have repulsion with this, so it will try to attack from the back side. This is attacking, this nucleophile is trying to attack from back side. See, from back side only it attacks because this is freely available, so this side only it attacks, and by the attack of that what is formed means actually we can get this type of molecule. So this is suppose front side one, and these three are the groups present, and this is back side one, means from back side it is attacked, and then what is formed is CX is present, but this bond is slowly dissociating So we can write with a dotted line, and a new bond is forming between the nucleophile and carbon atom, and already the bond which is present without any disturbance CH3, and here hydrogen also, and here deuterium also. Okay, and this is the structure which we will get as a reaction intermediate, and this is called as transition state. It is known as transition state. So SN2 mechanism occurs through transition state formation. This is the transition state molecule. If you see this molecule, these are the clear bonds. So I am removing halogen and I am removing the nucleophile. Then these are the three groups. These are the three groups present in it, and this is like this. Okay, three groups are present, and front side you are having one group, and back side, suppose front side we are having a halide, or suppose it is front side halide, and the back side is a nucleophile. This is back side nucleophile. So it is looking like a trigonal bipyramid structure. The transition state is having a trigonal bipyramid structure. Trigonal bipyramid structure is present. So trigonal bipyramid structure means you may think like it is having sp3d hybridization. So there is 5 bonds. So it is sp3d hybridization, but that is not correct. This is having only sp2 hybridization. These two bonds are not completely dissociated or not formed. So we can't consider for this hybridization, and this is sp2 looking like trigonal bipyramidal, but these two bonds are not completely formed, and the remaining 3 bonds are only present. Remaining 3 bonds means it is a trigonal planar shape only. Okay, after this bond dissociation and this bond formation, finally it is having a negative charge, because nucleophile I wrote already negative charge, so negative charge, and finally this is converted into CH3, and here this is a H, and this is a D, and here nucleophile is present, plus we are writing the halide ion as X minus. Okay, so finally the back side, this is the front side halogen, for example, the back side it is attacked, and we are getting this type of structure. Okay, again this is having a, if you see, again this is having tetrahedral structure, the same tetrahedral structure you will get. And here what happens in this process means generally we can write this bond as a thick line. Wedge dash method I am writing. So this is a wedge, a thick dash wedge form, wedge bond, and this is a dashed line. Suppose for example I am writing this as dashed line. Okay, means it is one is front side, one is back side, and here also I am writing the wedge line. Okay, and this is a dashed line bond, and here also we can write this as a wedge line, solid wedge line, and this is a dashed line. Okay, why I am writing like this means to indicate the configuration. So here if the configuration is taken, suppose for example if this is having small d configuration, or it is having R configuration, D configuration, or it is having R configuration, then this is having a L, or it is having S configuration. So it is a D isomer, for example, then it is called as L isomer, or it is a R isomer, that is S isomer. Okay, means the rotation is completely different. They have a different orientation of bonds, and so we are getting what type of product means finally I'm writing here, this is a inversion product is formed clearly, and this is first observed by the scientist Walden. So this is called as Walden inversion. Walden inversion product is formed in SN2 mechanism. So stereochemistry of SN2 mechanism, if you are taking, it is a stereospecific and stereoselective reaction. If we are taking an optically active or chiral carbon containing molecule, optically active or chiral carbon containing molecule, then what is happening? It is forming another optically active or chiral carbon. Suppose if it is R configuration, we are getting S configuration. So if it is a D configuration, if it is, then it is L isomer. So we are getting an optically active to another optically active compound. So it is a stereo specific and stereo selective reaction. And complete inversion product is only formed if we are taking an optically active compound. If it is not optically active, we can't get any inversion, like, okay, a normal product is formed. Okay, this is SN2 mechanism. Next, here what is the rate of reaction? Here only we have only single step process, so directly proportional to the concentration of alkyl halide power 1 and concentration of nucleophile. Here the nucleophile power 1, because both are involving in the single step process, so rate is depending on the concentration of alkyl halide and concentration of nucleophile. So this reaction is considered as a order. So order of the reaction is equal to 2, or molecularity of the reaction is 2. So it is a bimolecular. Why it is a bimolecular? Because it is having two reactant molecule participating in the slow step or rate determining. Here only one step. So only in the one step or single step, the alkyl halide and nucleophile, two reactant molecules are participating in the step. So it is called as bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Next, factors affecting SN2 reaction. In this first one, we said already rate of reaction. Rate of reaction is directly proportional to concentration of alkyl halide and concentration of nucleophile. So what is we can say? high concentration of alkyl halide and nucleophile is required. High concentration of alkyl halide and nucleophile is required. And second point, in this second point, strong nucleophile is required, because it is also deciding the rate of reaction. So strong nucleophiles are required. Whereas in SN1, weak nucleophile is required. So strong nucleophile is required. Generally, strong nucleophiles means what type? Means negative charged nucleophiles. Negative charged nucleophiles are strong nucleophiles. Example for this is OH minus, CN minus, NH2 minus, SH minus, CH3COO minus. These are considered as strong nucleophiles. Okay, weak base gives strong nucleophiles, weak acid gives strong nucleophiles. Sorry. So here, strong nucleophiles means mostly negative charged nucleophiles. They will act as strong nucleophiles. Here C triple bond CH minus will also act as a strong nucleophile. Next, second point. Here if you are taking the alkyl halide concentration, suppose alkyl halide which is required. So here reactivity, mainly very very important point. Please remember the important point here. Reactivity is inversely proportional to steric hindrance. Steric hindrance, because here backside attack is required. Whenever backside attack is required, if there is a bulky groups, then they can prevent the backside attack also. So whenever the rate of SN2 reactivity is taken, the reactivity of SN2 reaction or SN2 mechanism, the reactivity is inversely proportional to steric hindrance, or it is directly proportional to stability. stability of transition state. Stability of transition state. It is directly proportional to stability of transition state. So inversely proportional to steric hindrance and directly proportional to stability of transition state. And next, third point. Here, reactivity order of alkyl halides. Reactivity order. So, reactivity order of RX, alkyl halides, if you are taking, generally we said now steric hindrance is less, then they are having more reactivity. Suppose if you are taking CH3X and if you are taking CH3, CH2X, and if you are taking CH3 taken twice, CHX, and if you are taking CH3 taken thrice, CX. This is called as a primary alkyl halide or super primary alkyl halide. This is a primary alkyl halide. This is secondary alkyl halide. This is a tertiary alkyl halide. Whenever the alkyl group's number increases, steric hindrance increases. The repulsions increases. So the less steric hindrance containing is a methyl halide, which is more reactive. Next one is ethyl halide. Next one is isopropyl halide or secondary halide, and the last one is tertiary halide, which is highly impossible actually for SN2 mechanism. That is reactivity order of Rx. Next, solvent. Here for SN1 reaction, what is the solvent we have taken? Polar protic solvent. But for SN2 mechanism, polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent is required. For the polar aprotic solvent, what are taken? Generally CH3CO CH3. This is called as acetone. Okay. Acetone is a solvent. Very, very important thing. Please remember, if they are giving aqueous acetone, it will undergoes to SN1 reaction. Please remember whether they are mentioned aqueous or not. If without aqueous is given, no aqueous solution is given, only acetone is given, then it undergoes to SN2 mechanism. And next, here CH3 SO instead of carbon, here sulfur is taken. This is called as DMSO. What is DMSO? Dimethyl, two methyl groups, and this is sulfoxide. Dimethyl sulfoxide, that is dimethyl sulfoxide. And next, HC double bond O NH2. It is actually called as formamide, and this formamide, two hydrogen atoms are replaced with two methyl groups. So this is called as DMF, dimethyl, two methyl groups, dimethyl formamide. And another solvent CH3CO NCH3CH3. So what is the difference between these two? Here hydrogen is present, here methyl group is present. Here this is formyl and this is called as acetyl. So this is called as dimethyl acetamide. So these are the polar aprotic solvents. Here carbocation not formed, so we are not taking polar protic solvents, we are taking polar aprotic solvent. In the presence of polar aprotic solvent, SN2 mechanism occurs or SN2 reactions occurs. Okay. See these three reactions. These are actually example for SN2 mechanism. This is SN2 mechanism, or it is also SN2 mechanism, and it is also SN2 mechanism. This is like a Finkelstein reaction, please remember. And here, what is the product for this reaction? Here, this carbon is 4 different groups containing, so it is a chiral carbon. Definitely, you will get inversion product. Here, this is iodine. So, iodine is replaced by OH. iodine is a best living group. Same living group order also. SN1, SN2, both same living group order. Alkyl iodide is a best living group. Alkyl fluoride is a weak living group. And here inversion product means I minus is OH minus shifting, and opposite configuration we are getting. So in this side we will get OH, and here H is formed, here C6H13, and here it is CH3. Okay, this is not a tertiary alkyl halide, it is secondary alkyl halide. Secondary alkyl halides also undergoes to SN2 mechanism in the presence of a strong nucleophile, and it is forming OH minus is replaced with I minus, so I minus will released. And here if you see, the chlorine atom is present upper and hydrogen is present down. And here two methyl group is present upper, hydrogen is present down. Two hydrogens present downside means it is called as cis isomer actually. And CH3O minus nucleophile reacting, you will get inversion in the configuration at this position. At this position inversion means Cl upper, so in the product the Cl place will be down. So here you will get Cl here. Cl here means in the place of Cl, what is the nucleophile attacking? OCH3. And the hydrogen will come upside. So here this is up, and here the remaining same positions, CH3. So here the I minus is replaced with OH minus. Here Cl is replacing CH3O minus, and the positions are altered here. Here it is inverted in configuration, and here what is present? Cl position upside, it is axial. This is also called as axial bond, and here we are getting, so this is a tertiary butyl group, and here upside you will get hydrogen, and downside NaI gives I minus nucleophile, so iodine is added. Iodine is added, and Cl minus will come out. So Cl minus is released. Here what is released? Again Cl minus is released. Okay. So these all are SN2 mechanism reactions. So sometimes they give this type of configuration. So please see, if Cl is up means living group is up, then product will get a nucleophile in downside. And if here chlorine is upside, more axial position, in the product the iodine or nucleophile is in equatorial position. Opposite, axial opposite position is equatorial position. Some examples of nucleophilic substitution reactions. Here for example, I am taking CH3, CH2, halogen Cl, ethyl chloride is taken. Here ethyl chloride reacts with different compounds or different nucleophiles. How it gives the products? Suppose ethyl chloride is reacting with aqueous KOH. What is the product? Aqueous KOH contains OH minus as a nucleophile. Here Cl and OH is substituted, and so the product formed is CH3, CH2, OH plus KCl is formed. That is a nucleophilic substitution. Or suppose if you are taking moist silver oxide, or it is also called as a silver oxide plus water, they may give Az2O plus H2O gives 2AzOH. So directly they gives moist silver oxide or moist Az2O, or directly they gives AzOH. Moist silver oxide means this one only. Moist silver oxide means you will get AzOH. Okay, this AzOH, or directly if you are giving Az2O here without this moist silver oxide means you will get AzOH, and then this Cl is replacing again OH, and so you will get CH3, CH2, OH plus AgCl. This is also a nucleophilic substitution reaction. And suppose in this process, if you are taking a dry silver oxide is taken, this is remember, better to remember, it is not actually nucleophilic substitution, we can't, but silver oxide dry if you are taken, what is the product? This we learn in ethers also. Two molecules of alkyl halide reacts with this silver oxide, and this is forming CH3, CH2O, CH2, CH3 plus 2AgCl is formed. Two molecules, suppose if present, what happens? Two silver and two chlorine atoms released as 2AgCl. And ethyl groups 2 are present, one oxygen is present. So you will get diethyl ether. So please remember, if moist silver oxide is given, you will get alcohol. If dry silver oxide is given, you will get diethyl ether. And similarly, aqueous KOH is given, you will get ethyl alcohol. If alcoholic KOH is given, so alcoholic KOH is given. They mention like ethyl alcohol plus KOH. So please remember, they are not actually related to this nucleophilic, but this is actually elimination reaction. Alcoholic KOH is a best eliminating reagent. Dehydrohalogenation occurs. On this carbon halogen, from this carbon hydrogen is eliminated. So we are getting CH2 double bond CH2 plus KCl plus H2 is removed. Byproducts not important. You will get alkene. Elimination occurs. Ethylene or ethene is formed. So aqueous KOH, moist Ag2O will give alcohols. If dry silver oxide is taken, diethyl ether. If alcoholic KOH is taken, alkene is formed. Okay. And next, another important reaction, KCN. Here, alcoholic KCN if you are taking. So, alcoholic KCN if you are taking, here KCN is present as K plus and Cn minus. This is a delta En, electronegativity difference is more, so this is a ionic compound. KCN is ionic compound, so here the bond between K and C is an ionic bond, and so Cn minus ion, carbon negative charge, that is having lone pair, is present. Okay, and here carbon is attacking on this as a nucleophile, so we are getting CH3, CH2, CH2, Cn plus KCl is formed. This is called as ethyl cyanide. Suppose if you are taking AgCN, alcoholic AgCN, so this alcoholic AgCN if you are taking, delta En, electronegativity difference is less. Electronegativity difference is less between silver and this carbon, so it is a covalent compound. It is a covalent compound. Whenever it is a covalent compound, then the carbon silver bond not dissociated. So here what is the nucleophilic center means? Nitrogen. So whenever nitrogen is a nucleophilic center, then the product formed is CH3, CH2, NC. In first year nucleophiles types also they said ambident nucleophile. Ambident nucleophile means simply I will give Cn minus will act as ambident nucleophile. Here ambident nucleophile means a nucleophile which has two different donor centers. Here carbon can donate and nitrogen also can donate. So if carbon is donating, it forms cyanides. If nitrogen is the donor atom, it forms isocyanides. So alcoholic KCN if they are giving, you will get ethyl cyanide. If alcoholic AgCN is given, you will get ethyl isocyanide. So please remember, these reactions are also important. The next one, here reaction with KNO2. Here KNO2 means you are having this type of structure. Here also it is looking like ionic compound because delta En, electronegativity difference is less. So this is ionic compound. K plus and O minus is present. And here O is the nucleophilic center. ONO or NO2, it is also ambident nucleophile. And so what is the product we are getting? CH3, CH2, O N double bond O plus KCl is formed. This is called as ethyl nitrite. Ethyl nitrite is formed. And similarly, if AgNO2 is reacting, AgNO2 here, this is a compound, and in this process here we will get AgNO2. Wait. It is actually nucleophilic center because it is a covalent compound. And so because of this AgNO2 reacts at nitrogen place and it is forming CH3 CH2 NO2 plus AgCl is formed. Okay, so here this is AgNO2 formation, and here AgNO2 formation nitroethane is formed. This is called as nitroethane. Okay. Here it is having this bond only, N double bond O, and here nitroethane formation occurs. It is a covalent compound and nitroethane formation occurs. And here next, if you are taking, suppose the reaction with silver carboxylate or silver acetate CH3COO Here CH3COO minus and Ag plus is present. This carboxylate ion is the nucleophile, and so we are getting CH3 CH2 OOC CH3 plus AgCl. Here this is called as ethyl propanoate or ethyl acetate. Here this is CH3 COO C2H5. This is called as ethyl group. So this is ethyl, and this is normally called as acetate ion. So ethyl acetate is formed, CH3CO C2H5. And next, if you are taking sodium acetylide C triple bond H, here this is Na plus and C minus is present. This acts as a nucleophile, and so we are getting CH3 CH2 and C triple bond CH plus Na is taken, so you will get NaCl. Okay, and next the other reaction, that is NaOR dash or NaOR. This reaction is also called as Williamson synthesis. Williamson's synthesis. This is used for the preparation of ethers. It is used for the preparation of ethers. Williamson synthesis. Here in the Williamson synthesis, mainly the ethers, how it is formed means the sodium and chlorine is removed. So what is formed? CH3, CH2, O, R is formed plus NaCl is removed. So suppose in the place of R we are taking ethyl group, you will get ethyl group and again ethyl group, diethyl ether. So ethers formation occurs. Ethers formation occurs, as we said in the SN2 mechanism. Generally, this is undergoing through SN2 mechanism. Ethers formation reaction. Okay, any strong nucleophile is present, then they undergoes to SN2 mechanism. So this is some nucleophilic substitution reactions.